What's up? What's up? Hey, my people. OSA Day 2. You all know that I need to take opportunity and time every single time we get on here to make sure that this thing is sharing in all of the groups. So bear with me as I do that. All right. How y'all feeling today? How y'all feeling today? Talk to your homie. How y'all feeling today? Talk to me. Talk to me. All right. OSA Day 2. We are in here. We are in here. We got to go ahead and make sure that we share this and all of the spaces whereby it needs to be shared. Make sure it's pinned to the top of the page. It is going down. As you all are coming into this space in this place, make sure that you all are saying hello. Make sure that you give greetings. It literally is about to go down. Again, I'm just taking that opportunity to make sure that this is posted appropriately in all of the places whereby we need this to be posted. It literally is about to go down. I'm so excited. For those of you all who had an opportunity to watch OSA One Step Away, the One Step Away challenge yesterday, let me know how that experience was for you. All right. Did you have a good time rocking out with me yesterday? Were there some take homes? Did you literally, after the challenge, go and actually take that initial step? Did you take that initial step? What was that initial step? We're going to get into it in a moment. The OSA challenge, and this is day 2. So listen, I am so, as always, excited and elated to get this yet another opportunity to share with you all. I'm so thankful for everybody who's watching this thing live, that you've afforded me space and time and opportunity to be in your life, to be in your space, to talk about, listen, literally, us being one step away. One step away. So with this particular challenge, you all, that we're going to embark upon for the next 5 days, I am literally saying for all of us, especially for parents, because you all know that my work focuses and is fixated upon parents, is that, listen, for the life that we want to live, the life that you aspire towards, that destiny that you want for yourself, hey, take a moment, think of that vision, even close your eyes if you have to, and start asking yourself, what is it that I want to accomplish? Where is it that I want to go? Who is it that I want to be? What I'm saying during this 5 days of challenge is that you are one step away. And since I don't know exactly what step is going to click for you, what step is going to be that step to transform everything for you, I'm giving you a whole bunch of steps over these next 5 days that when you utilize these steps, when you take these steps, when you follow these frameworks and use these strategies, guess what? This thing has the ability to be on and popping in your lives. So as you all are coming into this space, thank you first and foremost for going ahead and sharing that piece, because y'all know me, you know how I do it. Every time I come on this thing, it's hot fire. We're not going to play around with it. We're going to get straight into it. So I want to make sure that you share it so that your population, so your community, especially our parents, have this ability to understand the power of this one step away challenge that's popping off over the next 5 days. And actually, today is day 2. I want to revisit one critical element of yesterday's training. When we had our training yesterday, one of the things that I spoke of, and I know it's not the neatest writing and it's not the neatest artwork, but guess what? I'm not going to wait to meet before I give you all the power of what it is I have on my heart and what it is I have on my mind. I'm not going to wait for neat till I get this thing on and cracking. I'm just going to get it how I get it, and we're going to live it how we live it. Yesterday, you all, we talked about this powerful step of saying, what are your critical life areas? And I hope for you all who are now on day 2 that you've taken that opportunity last night to sit down and ask yourself, to internally inquire, what are the critical areas in my life? Because the understanding that we garnered yesterday was that those critical life areas are literally going to touch everything that you do, right? So when one of these or multiple critical life areas are off, that means that you're going to have other things in your life that are off. And my whole thing is the people that I rock with are champions. We don't want to be off. We want to be all the way on. Do you understand me? We have somewhere to go. We have some things that we're trying to accomplish. So the first step that I asked you all to take yesterday was to identify your CLAs, your critical life areas. Just by way of example, I told you all my 3 critical life areas. It's spirituality, because my faith really guides my worldview. It guides how I think. It guides even how I talk. It guides how I approach the world, right? So when my spirituality ain't tight, when it's not solid, then that means that there are other things that are inevitably going to be off. Listen, I don't have no time to be off. Do you hear me? There are too many things that require for Damian Howard to be at his best. So I got to make sure my spirituality is strong, is tight. These little people here, who are those? If y'all didn't see that yesterday, this is your boy right here. This is my wife. This is Gabby, and this represents our little dog, because family is the second critical life area for me. When things are askew in my marriage, you understand? My marriage ain't always at a 10 or the 1 to 5. We're going to stick with the 1 to 5 that we use. It isn't always at a 5, perfect, right? Sometimes it's at a 4. Sometimes it's at a 3. Sometimes it feels like it's at a, you know what I mean? So we got to invest in family. And I'm going to talk to you all during the course of our time together of what investment needs to be made in your CLAs, your critical life areas, so that you can live your best lives. Okay? Why do we want to live our best lives? Because ultimately, when parents have less stress, our kids are going to have more success. We talked about all of this yesterday. Today is just a really succinct, simple review so I can get you all to step number 2. Yesterday's step was, what are your 3 critical life areas? And today's step is going to go beyond that. I'm so excited for it. Parents, when you stress less, our kids are going to have greater success. I'm not going to get into all of the research that's behind this, but it's already proven that if we can regulate our own emotions, that increases our ability to connect to our kids, that not only are they going to win academically, but they're going to win in all of life. And the more I think about this and the more I peruse the research on mental health and emotional well-being, guess what? This stuff that is going to benefit our kids is going to help us to flourish and prosper in these 3 critical life areas and in other sectors of our lived experience. I'm so thankful that you all are sharing this, because you already see that I'm coming with a particular energy that's so ready and that's so poised to make impact through this camera and meet you wherever it is that you are. So I don't want you to be selfish with this. Not only am I asking for you to endure this particular day 2 OSA One Step Away challenge, you got to go ahead and share this with your network. How do you share this with your network? You hit that button share. You just give them 1 sentence to let them know it's going down right now. And that's all you have to do. Step number 1 yesterday. What are your 3 critical life areas? And this boy right here, y'all, I love it. That is the character activation wheel that says there is destruction on one side, there's progress on another side. Listen, when you think of your critical life areas, in what way is your wheel churning? In what way is your wheel moving? Are you having more destruction, or are you having a whole bunch of progress that's jumping off? Listen, if y'all feeling good, if y'all are feeling great, I need you to go to the comment section and let me know that you're having good vibes. It's good energy. I love it. I love it. I love it. So let me go ahead and put that wheel right back on this board today. This wheel is going to become, again, an overarching concept and framework that helps to guide everything that we're going to be talking about over these next few days. And as I shared yesterday, this wheel, which represents your life, this wheel, which represents your life, is always constantly moving in one or the other direction, right? And on the bottom of this wheel, what we wrote yesterday are 2 words. We wrote destruction, and then on the other side, we wrote progress. And I love the fact that we have a line here and not necessarily arrows on each end, because this line represents a continuum, right? It doesn't mean that I've reached progress or I've reached destruction. Most of the times our lives or those critical life areas are somewhere in between. But my point is I want to help you over these next 5 days, that through the investment that you're going to be making into yourself. Come on, let's not get ahead of the process. I'm going to tell you what the investment is. I just need you all to stick with me for 5 days. But through the investment that you're going to make into yourself, I want to see every little area, every reality, every instance of your lived being that's closer to this side of the continuum and spectrum than on this side. So let's get into it. You all, when we talk about the character activation wheel and the fact that we want to see more progress, the fact that we want to see more progress and less destruction, what I have come to realize, and this is the thing that changed and transformed my own life. By the way, you all, this is framework. This is another framework that I am further giving you all and illuminating for the fact of you being able to implement this in your own life and see the change that I've seen in my life. All right. So there are some critical components of this character activation wheel. All right. Critical components of our lives that require investment if we're wanting to see more progress and less destruction. And those three assets, or those three aspects that I like to focus on: number one, our state; number two, our habits; and then number three, self-knowledge. Oh, and just to kind of let you all know that this is about to go down in this way, self-knowledge, there's a particular acronym that I like to use, and this acronym is going to give us guidance for step number 2 that I'm asking for you all to take today. So when we talk about your state, that's your beliefs and your emotions. When you talk about your state, that's your beliefs and your emotions. When you think of your habits, and I'm so excited for us to get into days 4 and 5, because man, that habits conversation is going to be so heavy. It's going to be so lofty. These are the things that we do, the behaviors that we do most of the times without even thinking about it. And these behaviors are a manifestation of our character. It's a manifestation of all of the other components of this life wheel, of our lived experience. So the habits, they literally show us what's inside. Namely, they show us that character part. So the habits are literally allowing you to not have to be subjective about this thing. You can look at your habits, you can look at your financial habits, you can look at your relationship habits, you can look at your eating habits, and all of those habits let you know if there might be something off with your state that needs to be investigated or worked on, if there's something about your self-knowledge that you need to invest in. I got to get that squig of water. I love it. State, habits, and self-knowledge. So now with this, knowing the critical areas whereby an investment needs to be made, if you're wanting this wheel to move in the area of progress and less in the direction of destruction, what I want to do momentarily is to really build out this self-knowledge piece. And I'm going to build it out with an acronym. And that's going to give you so much encouragement and so much clarity concerning step number 2 today that it's ridiculous. But before I do that, I got to ask you all a question. And this question is going to go back to number 1, which is state. Here's the question. I am very curious to know, what are you doing intentionally to make sure that you have empowered beliefs and that emotionally you're in your best place possible? What are you doing intentionally to focus on your state on a daily basis? All right. And for everybody who's watching this thing live, and or if you're going to watch this after the fact, I want you to literally go ahead and let me know, what are you doing to invest in your state? What are you doing that you are dealing with any stinking thinking that you might have, any thoughts that are awry, any thoughts that are causing you to have limiting beliefs concerning your potential, concerning what you can do? What are you doing to invest in your state? What are you doing to make sure that emotionally you're in the most powerful position that you can possibly be in? Help me understand, what are you doing right now to invest in your state? Okay. Since I have to move on, suffice it to say, when I'm looking at the comment section right now, I don't see any comments. I don't see anybody saying, Damien, so I can make sure that my beliefs are super powerful, this is what I do. So I can make sure that emotionally I have like the best energy going on inside of my body on a daily basis. This is what I do. Since I don't see that, that can mean one or two things. Number one, it might just mean that y'all don't want to comment with your boy, which is fine. I mean, it is what it is. Obviously, I love engagement, and that engagement helps to make this such a more fruitful experience. But if you don't want to comment and engage, I mean, it is what it is. But it can also mean that you're not necessarily having an answer to that question. If I ask the question, what are you doing to intentionally invest in your state to make sure that you have empowered beliefs and empowered emotions? A lot of people, what I find when I'm going into professional development spaces, is they don't have an answer to that question. And quite possibly, you don't have an answer to that question because you ain't doing nothing. You haven't thought about that question. You haven't gotten to a point where you slowed down enough to understand that your state is going to drive your habits and it's going to drive your life, right? And some of possibly the destruction that you're experiencing is because you haven't made an investment in your state, in your beliefs, in your emotions. So if the state, as people are constantly telling me when I'm going into professional developments, they say, Damien, my state, that's foundational. That's of foundational importance because based on my beliefs and my emotions, that's going to drive all of my life. And if you agree with that statement, and if you're in the place where you believe that your state is that powerful, that it's going to drive all of your life, tell me, why in the world wouldn't you be intentional that every day when you wake up, you are doing necessary work to make sure that you are in the most powerful and empowered state that you can possibly be in, so that you can go to the market, so that you can go to the world, so that you can go to your family, so that you can go to your workplace and show up as the best version of yourself? What are we doing, ladies and gentlemen, to invest in our state? All right, so obviously a question might be, Damien, what are you doing to invest in your state? And oftentimes when I get to this point in the conversation, I like to call out two people. Number one, Les Brown. And I call out Les Brown, because for whatever reason, especially if I'm trying certain things, like for instance, right now, I'm trying the 1 Step Away challenge, right? And yesterday when I did the 1 Step Away challenge, my number count wasn't where I wanted my number count to be. People weren't sharing this like I wanted them to share it. People weren't commenting like I wish that they would comment, right? And when I was sharing this in so many different spaces, asking people to show up for the 1 Step Away challenge, and then I get here and I go live and I'm not necessarily getting that feedback. I'm not necessarily getting that love. Do y'all understand that that can weigh down on a brother? I don't know about you, but that can definitely weigh down on me, right? So absolutely, that did weigh down on me yesterday. And yesterday I was able to kind of connect with one of my accountability partners who's helping me to go through this journey. And it gave me that energy. You understand? It gave me that encouragement. It lifted me up to say, Damien, you got another day to come right back to this thing with day 2 and give people the next step that they need to take so that they can understand you're just 1 step away. But other times, you all, I have to go and I have to call on Uncle Les. And I say, Les, right now, I need you to give me a word. You understand? I need some encouragement because since I have this framework subconsciously etched into my psyche, and I know my state is important, my habits are important, my self-knowledge, they're important and they drive all of my life. Oftentimes when I feel that beliefs or emotions aren't where they need to be, I'm gonna turn on Les Brown, because chances are Les Brown, at some point in his soliloquy, some point in his conversation, some point in his discourse, he's going to look dead in the camera, right? And I'm trying to make sure that I don't knock this thing down. He's going to look in the camera, almost like he's looking at me. And I'm just like, Les, are you looking at me? Les, are you talking to me? Like he's gonna look right in that camera. And sometimes, Les is so passionate about this work that you might even see tears forming in his eyes, especially when he starts to talk about his mom and he starts to talk about some of his challenges coming up. You might start seeing tears formulating in that man's eyes. Les will look right in the camera. And he will say almost as if he's saying it to me and there's nobody else there. And the same way that I'm saying this to you right now, he will say two simple words that will push me and propel me to a mind state and a conscientiousness that I am more than enough, that I am more than a conqueror, and I have everything that's necessary inside me to go, to grow, to conquer, and be the success that God made me to be. Let's just say two words. And as let's just say these two words, you better understand that the reason I took that step to get close to this camera right now is I'm saying these two things to you. Les would say, be hungry. So many of you all have heard me tell this story. You're probably going to hear me tell this story for years to come. But it's something about when that man says those two words, be hungry. He'll say, you gotta be hungry. And he just doesn't say those words. They come after he's already told a story of all of the no's that he's got in his life. It says that I want to be a disc jockey. No, Les, you don't have the right makeup for that. I want to go and I want to get into politics. No, Les, you don't have the right pedigree for that. I want to buy my mama a house. No, Les, you don't have the right economics for that. But it was something inside of this man whereby he would not take no. He would not take that as a suitable answer for him. And he would just simply say, I was hungry. I wanted to eat. I wanted my family to eat. I wanted my mama, because she adopted me and my brother, right? And she treated us very well. It wasn't like his maternal mom who put us off to the side. My adopted mom, she treated us very well. So I wanted the best for her. So Les said, I had no choice but to be hungry. And I watched Les Brown, you all. And every time I get to a point whereby my state is off, I'm not feeling the right type of vibes, I'm not thinking the right type of things about myself, I find resources and tools that I've already investigated that can help me to get to a more empowered place of beliefs and emotions. I told you all there were two people that I just call upon when I'm thinking of this conversation that I have with people about states. And the second person is Eric Thomas. Because Eric Thomas reminds me that I am not a gazelle to be in the wild being chased. That's ultimately the lion is going to prouse upon this thing, eat it up, devour it. No, you're not the one that's supposed to be the food. You're the one that's supposed to be the predator, which means that you go out and get it, which means that you go out and get stuff done. E.T. would say, come on, bro, you a lion. Come on, sis, you're a lioness. And when he says those certain things, and the whole reason I went to him is because in that moment, I'm feeling like the one that's getting eaten up. Life is so heavy and it's so weighty on me right now that I'm not feeling in my most empowered state. So when I don't feel in my most empowered state, I go and get resources to help me to get there. What resources, Damien? What investment do you make in your state? I gave you a couple of examples, but when we get into tomorrow, I'm literally on this side of the character activation wheel. I'm going to show you all 3 critical investments that you need to make into your state, your habits, and your self-knowledge that literally have the ability to transform and change your life, okay? That conversation, you all, that we had there about state, if that offered you some insights, if that gave you some inspiration that you deem to be helpful, I need to see those hearts right now. I need to see those likes right now. That engagement helps so much. Habits, we have a whole section on that. Self-knowledge, we finally gotten you all to step number 2. Step number 2. And with the 1 step away challenge, I don't necessarily know which of these steps is going to change your life. I don't know which of these steps is going to be the step to allow you to experience transformation that changes everything for you. But what I do know is that as you're sticking with me over these next 5 days, each of these steps, and as you go through this whole journey, absolutely one of these steps has the ability and the power to change everything for you. That's why I get so excited about the One Step Away Challenge and this training, my flagship training, the Character Activation Wheel. All right. So today, you all, we're going to go ahead and present step number 2. And step number 2 focuses solely on that self-knowledge part of the Character Activation Wheel. All right. And in order for us to speak about self-knowledge, I actually have an acronym. We got a lot of acronyms. I missed the A. We got a lot of acronyms and the Character Activation Wheel, you all. So SHAPE is the acronym that I want to share with you all today. So with that, let me just go ahead and put the letters on the side here. So you working through the SHAPE acronym is step number 2 that I'm asking you all to take as a part of day 2 of the One Step Away Challenge. And I guarantee you, if you go and you figure out every component of your own shape and you start to invest in your shape, oh man, come on. I almost can't think of anything better. I can't think of anything more powerful that will bring about the change that you desire. And guess what? I don't even know what change you desire, but I know when you're doing this shape work, come on, this thing can change everything for you. I just want to go ahead and put ELI here on the board. Just shout out to an organization called the Emerging Leaders Initiative, because that's when I first saw this acronym, and that's when I first was able to get access to this particular framework. Okay, so shape. The S stands for strengths. The S stands for strengths. The S stands for strengths. Make sure y'all sharing it. Make sure y'all sharing it. Make sure y'all sharing it so other parents, other individuals can get access to this. So with your strengths, the question is, what are the areas in your life whereby you just have a natural giftedness? Do you hear me? What are the areas in your life that these are the strong areas whereby when you make an investment in these areas of your life, of these assets, of these characteristics, then it just allows you to be the best version of you. And the beautiful thing, and by the way, the Gallup Strengths Finder assessment, Gallup Strength Finder assessment is the assessment tool that I use anytime when I start to have a real conversation with people about their strengths. And the beautiful thing about this assessment as well is that any team that you're on, if we all know what our strengths are, what a beautiful dynamic for me to live into my strengths, live into what value I can bring to this organization. And then I want to celebrate you and who you are and what your strengths are and the things that you have in yourself that I don't possess. And that's the whole reason we have the hand and the arm and the leg and the foot, because they all serve different functions of the body. Do you understand me? But here's the thing. A lot of you don't even know what function or service that you are supposed to render for the sake of your organization, for the sake of your family, because you don't even know your strengths. You haven't done that self-knowledge work, that inquisitive work, that self-introspective work to figure out what are your strong areas, what are your natural areas whereby you have talents, whereby you have certain gifts. And again, if you look at the Gallup Strengths Finder assessment, the assessment now costs $20. When I first took it and I was having teams to go through it, it was $10. Inflation is a real thing, but I tell you, that's one of the best $20 investments that you'll make in your life, because it starts to give you clarity concerning how you're wired. Are you an executor? Are you somebody who is an ideator? Are you somebody who's an influencer? When I took that Strength Finder assessment, I learned that I have so much in me to influence the masses, to influence people, to influence parents. And I'm just like, yo, for real? So let me invest more in that, in this communications piece, which I know is something that I need some help with, and versus me always beating myself down or talking bad about myself for the fact that I need help with communications, marketings and advertising and all. I need help with that stuff. That's not my strong suit. So I go and I spend money to go get people to help me to do that stuff, so I can focus on being the influencer that God has made me to be. So the question here is, what are your strengths? Okay. What are your strengths? All right. So the H represents heart, or in parentheses, we could put the word passion. Like, what literally is on your heart, or in parentheses, we could put the word passion. So I'm looking at the screen and I'm seeing that the red isn't the best. So let me go ahead and try to go over it with the black. What are your strengths? And then with this part, what is on your heart? So suffice it to say, because I don't want to spend too much time on this part. When I get to this part of my training as well, and I'm asking people, man, what makes your heart palpitate? Like, what are you passionate about? And it's one of those things, again, when I get crickets in the room. And maybe they're crickets in the room because the way that I approach this, you all see that the energy is always on fleek. Like, this is not me trying to be a poser, anything different than who I am. The energy is like this consistently. Maybe there is so much silence and crickets in the room when I ask people about their passion, because maybe I'm an intimidating figure and I'm just coming so strong that it's just, Damien, I don't want to talk to you. Or quite possibly, which I think part of this is really what's behind this, is that people don't know what their passions are. People don't really have any passions. They haven't done, again, that self-knowledge, introspective work enough to ask themselves, what really makes my heart beat? What is that thing that even if I didn't get paid, if I can live without ever needing money, what would I do? How would I give of myself, right? What is it that makes me feel full? What is that? That's fulfillment. What is that thing that makes me feel full? All right. And if you don't have answers to that, you got to start doing this shape work, figuring out this acronym for yourself to understand what are your strengths, what are your passions, namely that thing that makes your heart beat. All right. A stands for affirmations. Affirmations. I'm just go ahead and give you the other ones. P is for personality, and E is for experiences. All right. All right. Affirmations. Basically, this is speaking to what are other people saying about you. All right. When folks tell you that you did a good job consistently, what are some of the things, or what are some of the scenarios by which they are led to say, oh, snap, you killed it that time. Oh, snap, you did a good job on that. You understand? And, you know, when I get to this point in the conversation, I often ask, what do you all think people often affirm me concerning? Like, what is one of the things that you think when I'm doing this, people be like, oh, man, you did a good job doing that, Dane. Come on, you might need to think about doing some more of that, right? Every time I ask that question, what do you all think I get affirmed on quite often? Every single time I ask that question, people say something surrounding speaking, something about, Damien, your communication, when you're talking to people, I just think that it resonates well, right? So maybe you need to do more of that. And for whatever reason, y'all, there's a part of me that does not receive affirmation, or I used to not receive affirmation that well, right? It was like this, some with my humility that was just like, oh, shucks, now stop it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just wouldn't receive it. But what I started to learn, especially when I was presented with this framework, the SHAPE framework, is that affirmations can fuel your fire. Oh, snap. So what's that? Affirmations can fuel your fire. They can fuel your flame. Do you understand me? Some of y'all already got a spark in you, but when people start telling you, dude, you cold at that thing, girl, you need to bake more of those cookies, because when you make those cookies, do you understand? My whole family was like, we got to get those cookies every single day. And it was something about you was like, nah, I didn't even think those cookies were that good. But then you gave somebody else the cookies, and they like, I want some more of the cookies. And it's starting to fuel your flame, right? So don't take affirmations lightly, especially if multiple people are telling you the same thing. maybe that's something that you need to lean more into and make an investment into that area so you can get even better at that thing. And why am I telling y'all, again, I want you to make an investment? Because one of the things I introduced y'all to yesterday was the business investor. No, not the business investor triangle. I introduced y'all to the cash flow quadrant, right? And if I can find it. And when I introduced y'all to the cash flow quadrant, what we started talking about here was that, man, some of us have an aspiration to be self-employed or business owners and ultimately investors whereby our money makes money. We want to get on this side whereby we're able to be where the 5%ers are and get access to 95% of the world's financial assets. And if we want to be there, what I'm saying is that the stuff that I'm talking to you all about right now today, it becomes so important. I don't know what your dreams are. I don't know what it is that you want to accomplish, right? I don't know what that thing is that's in the back of your mind, which is like when you think of that thing, it's just like, I get passionate about that. My heart starts to beat. Whatever that thing is, what I'm trying to do is fan your flame. You understand? And show you how to intentionally invest in your life. And right here, this is all about your self-knowledge in a particular way whereby whatever that thing is, you start to build up your ability in that area so that ultimately people will pay you for your gift. Do y'all know how amazing it is when people pay you for your gift? I almost think of LeBron James. And I know LeBron James is one of the coldest people when it comes to being disciplined with his mind and his body. But the fact that he can literally take a basketball and he creates not just a living, but he creates the type of lifestyle and the economic opportunity for himself that allows him to bless his whole state. Y'all see some of the stuff LeBron James is doing with his income? Like, that's because he knows who he is. He knows his strengths. He knows what his passions are. He heard people affirm how cold he was as a basketball player that lit his flame, and now he plays basketball more. Do you all understand? It's the same thing. You can replicate this in your own life. For personality, suffice it to say, I'm just going to get at that one quickly. You can take the Enneagram assessment, and it starts to give you clarity concerning your personality. When you understand your personality and the personality of other people around you, that helps you to be a person who has greater ability to relate to other individuals. It helps you to be the type of person who has social awareness. And do y'all understand, man? Travis Bradberry, he's always mentioning this emotional intelligence 2.0. Y'all, in jobs nowadays, this stuff is way more important than IQ. They're wanting people who have people knowledge, who have people smarts, right? And if you want to be that type of person, I'm telling you, invest in your shape. Learn your shape. This is the self-knowledge framework, and I'm giving you all the strategies and the tactics that you can apply to be so on point when it comes to who you are. Like I told y'all, don't wait for nobody else to give you inspiration for you to get up and do the work. Listen, I'm giving you everything you need today as far as tools to get you one step closer to see progress popping off in every stage and area of your lived experience. What is your personality? What are affirmations? What's on your heart? What are your strengths? And then I'll close with experiences. Thank you all so much for sharing this. I know that this training and this teaching that we had today was just absolutely amazing. Let me go ahead and get this squid. It was absolutely amazing. So the fact of the matter is however you're getting this, it might be a YouTube link. It might be you're here live right now. However you're getting this, maybe somebody shared it with you. Just make sure that you're sharing this with other folk as well. All right, because we want as many people as possible to get this awakening and get access to this framework, these strategies, these tactics in the same way that you're getting them today. So lastly, we got experiences. All right. So for me, I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and I can remember vividly that there were times when my cousin, he and I are just about a year and a half apart. I'm older than him, but he's about a year and a half younger than me. And he and I, we grew up as brothers until the age of 10 when I moved out of that household. And we would walk to school together. We just did everything together, basically. And I can remember times when we couldn't walk on 79th Street because that's where we lived, right off of 79th Street. We had to walk through the alley. You understand? And we had to walk through the alley because my mom and my grandma and his mom, they thought that, man, it was a little too dangerous in our neighborhood for us to be as young kids walking on the main street by ourselves. And, our parents, they were at work. So we just had to go ahead and figure it out. So I just remember us walking through the alley and not being able to walk on 79th Street. I remember, times when money was tight and we had to boil water on the stove top, literally the oven door was open. We ain't even talk about any type of toxins that were probably in the air that could have killed us while we were sleeping. That may have made an impact on our lives even to this day that we don't know. By the grace of God, we're still standing. My grandma just turned interrupted. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? It's something about my story that somebody don't want y'all to hear this story. So just stick with it, because I believe what's about to be shared is going to be powerful, and it must be powerful. That in all of the things that I was sharing, all of the times that I've been here with you all of a sudden the live video wants to get interrupted. Can y'all go to the comments and just let me know if you can still hear me? Let me know if y'all are still here with me. That would be just so very helpful. It said the live video is interrupted. If y'all can hear me, I'm still waiting on somebody to let me know, give me an affirmation. I just told y'all how important affirmations are. Say, Damien, we can hear you. Damien, we're still here with you. Let me know something. Let me know. Can you all hear me? Give me a heart, give me something, give me a like, give me something. Let me know if y'all are here with me. All right. Because I want to finish my story. All right. I'm just going to keep it going. Hopefully y'all are here with me. Again, some type of confirmation that you all can hear me right now would be amazing. All right. So again, we grew up right off of 79th Street. Times are tough. I even think of, different rodent issues and things of that nature. Like I say, no, it wasn't nobody had any real financial literacy or knowledge beyond, living paycheck to paycheck. What I am very thankful for, though, is my grandma, who was the matriarch of the whole family. She never relied on government subsidies. I think that would have potentially been an abysmal thing for our family psyche, because sometimes when you kind of get into that rhythm of relying on the government for different resources, it's hard to kind of get out of that, because that's very sexy and even intoxicating. That, oh snap, I don't have to work and I can still get paid and I can still eat and I can still live. But she was like, nah, I'm gonna work for mine. And we definitely learned something watching her grind and watching her work ethic. I love my grandma. I love her to pieces, and I'm just so thankful for the example that she gave for us. But in me sharing all of this, I'm sharing this story because things were nowhere near easy for me or for my family when I was coming up. And in fact, in many ways, my life was absolutely hard. Many things were a challenge. Many things were a struggle. And the fact of the matter is that me as a kid, I was guarded from a lot of that. I didn't even know, I never thought that we lacked anything, because my mom just made sure that I always was in a place to feel the resources that were necessary. Come on, you got them. Our Christmases, I got the Super Nintendo. My cousin got the Sega Genesis. We my fuel. So it's Are y'all here? Y'all here? I don't know. This never acts up like this, but it seems like it's just acting up in a major way today. I am determined to be the type of individual that every experience that I go through in my life is going to fuel me to be a better version of myself for the future. Good, bad, abysmal, abusive, neglectful, whatever it is that I've gone through, like those things can beat me down. They can wear me down mentally, physically. They can cause me to think less of myself. But I am determined that my experiences as a part of my shape are going to only be used to fuel and to motivate and to encourage and to push. And more than anything, that every test that I've gone through now has been transformed into a testimony so that I can show somebody else you have the ability to break through whatever barrier is trying to block you, stop you, and hinder you from being the best version of you. If you don't believe it, take my story, take my lived experience as an example, right? I came literally, in many instances, from nothing. And I was able to figure it out. Yeah, it took me 4 decades almost. But there are things that I'm now able to figure out. Why? Because I simply persevered. And in addition to persevering, I took this step number 2, which is the step that I'm asking for you all to take today, day 2 of the One Step Away Challenge. And step number 2 says that I did the self-knowledge work to understand my strengths, what's on my heart, what are my passions, what affirmations are people constantly saying about me. You know, I have better knowledge from the Enneagram assessment, what's my personality makeup, right? And then lastly, I think about my lived experiences, my story, my narrative as something that gives me fuel. It fuels, it fans the flame versus diminishes me or puts me in a state that's off, a state that's less than the most empowered state that empowers then the most powerful version of Damian Howard. So that is day 2, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, of the One Step Away Challenge. If you all have gone through day 1 and now day 2, guess what? You're one step closer to being able to see perpetual progress popping off in your CLA. What is CLA? I told y'all it's a lot of acronyms as a part of this. You better keep up. Those are your critical life areas. If you didn't see day 1, I absolutely have day 1 posted and plastered everywhere. So you certainly have access to day 1 at this particular point in time. I'm also going to make sure that I post day 2 everywhere, posted and plastered everywhere, so that folks can get access to day 2 and you can make sure that you share it. Who do I want you to share this with? Most importantly, I want you all to share this with your parents, okay? Because this whole challenge was really brought upon, or it was brought up because I'm always thinking like, okay, how do I get this knowledge and how do I get the best of me in front of parents? I want parents to have less stress so that our kids can have greater success. How can I do that, right? I know when I go live that I'm not going to have an optimal number of people here, but I'm not going to wait to the optimal numbers, a whole bunch of hundreds, thousands of people to come and check your boy out live. Before I go live, I click the button and I do something because I know what it is that I have. So even for the few who watch this, I'm like, I got to give it to you. I got to give you the best of me because I know that it will bring transformation to your life. So this is what I ask of you all. Immediately when I stop going live, I'm going to go to the comment section and I'm going to give you access to a free PDF, which takes everything that I'm teaching here and it really gives it to you. At least the first session, it gives it to you in print format, right? And then also what you're going to get access to is an opportunity for you to invest a little bit into yourself, right? I'm going to tell you right now, for $7, come on, that's a sandwich. That's less than what you're going to pay for a meal. For $7, I'm going to give you access not only to the first training, but you can get access as well to what I call your action plan. So that action plan is giving you specific steps. All of the stuff that I'm sharing here that I'm blitzing through and I'm talking so much through, when you get that action plan, it just breaks it down so neatly for you. And like I said, come on, that's $7, right? And then like right there in the offer, I'm giving you all access to group coaching so that we can continue this conversation and more intimately, you can have access to me so I can help you to navigate through this journey. So you never have to feel alone while you're taking your steps, your one step towards greater progress in your situation. I want to walk with you. So that link is going to give you access to group coaching, and that link is going to give you access to the same stuff that we're talking about in a more polished way. Days 1 through 5 of the character activation wheel, which is my flagship training. All of this stuff is right there in the link that I'm going to share. So make sure, y'all, that you hit that link, man. And it's so much more. I mean, I just thought real quick, I was about to hit end, but I got to tell y'all, like when you click that link, that's not the only thing. I just thought about it. The Transform Your School PDF, the Transform Your Home PDF. There's a PDF that's literally breaking down what I call the SEL mentoring method, social and emotional learning. It's telling you how to think. And when I went here and I was talking about your state, your beliefs, and your emotions, I'm giving you strategies that can help you to be in your most powerful emotional place. I'm giving that to you for free. So we already talked about the character activation wheel PDF you get for free. You get the PDF that's talking about transform your home, transform your school. Listen, when you get on this platform and you get coaching, you get access to a $750 opportunity for you to be a parent champion in your school. That's a bonus that's free to you. When you get on this platform and you get coaching, you get access to our Champions Village, which is a free Facebook page. And that free Facebook page has a community of over 1,000 individuals who are all on this journey of us living our best lives. And if you decide such, listen, this is a bonus package that's like, it's like unfathomable. Like, this is crazy that all of these bonuses are put there for next to nothing. Like, and all of this stuff I'm trying to give you all, and I'm packaging it in such a way that makes it super simple for you to take these steps. And you can take them on your own, or I can take them with you, or I can do them for you, right? All of that is going to be shared in this link that's going to be given to you below. And for anybody who said that I'm in a place I'm willing to invest in me, right? It's a secret private group, a secret private space that you're going to get invited to. So everything that I'm sharing right now, you all, when you click that link and you tap into some of these bonus resources that are going to allow me to literally hold your hand through this journey of you trekking towards greater progress and less destruction in your life, especially my parent champions. Come on, parents. Y'all, this stuff literally is going to change everything for you. So I'm excited already for all of you all who are going to click that link, for all of you all who are going to share these videos, because this is an amazing thing. And our time together has been an amazing utilization of 50 or so minutes that we spent together. All right, y'all. Peace, 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 and many blessings. I know that you all got value out of this, even if you just watched the segment. So whatever value that you got out of this, make sure that you're using that comment section. If you're all on YouTube, make sure you're subscribing, make sure you're liking. We need the world to know, and we need the algorithms to pop off and understand that we're doing something of great value that has the ability to bring change to our communities, change to our schools, change to our homes. All right, y'all. It's your boy. See you tomorrow, 3 o'clock sharp Central Standard Time.